Okay, so this has been pretty big news. If you're like me and you graduated from college, most of us graduated with student loans. I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for student loans, probably couldn't do college. Because yeah, college is, depending on where you go, most places is like 30, 40, $50,000, $100,000, and that's just for your undergraduate degree. And then when you start talking about your graduate degree, yeah, listen, the numbers go up more and more. And if you're talking about like a doctor's program, talk about being a lawyer, talk about, the numbers just go up. The numbers go up. Uh, so if you're a part of that group and you took out student loans, well, obviously you can kind of see that what's going on. So I was one of the people like, I went to school. So I was gonna do a double major. So I was gonna double major in form and engineering, and I was gonna have a liberal arts degree. Unfortunately, I started doing engineering, and I learned that it wasn't for me. It wasn't what I wanted to do. Just all of the checks and balances, and it was just a lot of responsibility for a quick decision that you may make. And I was just like, nah, I'm good. It just wasn't the type of work that I seen myself doing, you know. I mean, and then the pay compared to the work, it just wasn't proportional, in my opinion. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be an engineer. Nope, not me. Not gonna be an engineer. Well, not gonna get I'm not gonna finish school and go through the certification and all of that stuff. I'm not gonna do that. So I graduated with my liberal arts degree. And so I'm one of those people. I went to college basically on loans because at the time my family just didn't have it. And that was the way that, most people had gone to college before. So it made sense. You know what I'm saying? It made sense to just take out some loans, do your thing, and then, once you come out, get you a good job, and then pay off your loans. And that's why I was working so many different jobs because I was just like, I want to find that good job that I could do for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And unfortunately, I couldn't find it. For me, you know, um, it just, yeah, I couldn't find it. Because, like, I was looking at, like, my supervisors in a lot of these positions, and it's like, my supervisors, they did. So what I did. So when I would go to a job, I would look at my supervisor or my manager and see like, do they live the life that I would like to live? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they enjoying themselves? Like, do they look overall happy? Because I didn't know. Once you get to those types of levels, once you get in management, you're on a different trajectory than you are when you're just a regular employee. Regular employees get let go every day, especially in the fields that I was working. But managers, it takes a little bit more. Like it has to be more to it, in other words. So for a manager to get let go, that's some, what I'm saying? Like it's more like a regime change, like like when like the new boss comes, like when somebody buys the company and they want to bring in their people, that's when managers get let go. You know, it got to take like the whole office to complain about a manager, and then the manager gets let go. Like it got to be like a drastic situation because managers have those years of experience. They're managing the team, so you really got to just be bad, bad at your job, or it's just unfortunate for you to get let go as a manager. So I always look to the managers as the people, as the kind of guideline for what I would be. You know what I'm saying? Like if the managers are good, then I'm gonna be good. If that makes sense. Like if they living a real good life, if they come in happy, yada yada yada, then I'm gonna come in happy. You know. And over my jobs, man, I gotta be honest. My managers don't look too happy. I had one manager that was like really good at what she did, and shout out to my manager. I can't say her name, but she was awesome. She was awesome. She made me believe in life. But outside of that one manager, out of all of my jobs, my managers just didn't seem happy. Now I don't know, they didn't. Every job wasn't the same, obviously. It's not, so I don't want to say like all of my managers shared their personal details, gave me the rundown of their life and all of that stuff. It's just when they would come to work, they were just so mad. Like I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. It was just like they had an attitude. It's like, bro, like if you don't like your job, move on. I mean, it's the same thing that y'all say like with us as drivers, as Uber drivers, DoorDash people, whatever. Oh, well, if you don't like your job, don't take the order, don't take the offer. So I was, that goes true for people in regular jobs as well. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of managers that just didn't look happy. Now, they could have had other things going on. They could have been, going through real things. I don't know. They just didn't look happy. You know what I'm saying? When they would come into work, sure, they got work done. They handled the business. They didn't let, whatever was going on bleed through. But manager after manager, they just didn't strike me as like, this is the position that you should strive for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they live in the best life. I mean, some of my managers had nice cars. Some of my managers didn't. Some of my managers worked normal hours. Some of my managers did. Some of my managers will work damn near, they were salary at that point. So it was just like they would be working a lot of hours. And it's just like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. And be on call and have to. So, yeah. So I got a degree because I was like, I want to get a good job. When I got out of college and I started working these jobs, I started to realize, well, damn, I don't see the good job. I don't see the good job in terms of trajectory. I don't see the good job in terms of just opportunities. But like a lot of people, I do have student loans. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to share this article. Now that I kind of gave you some background, a little bit of background, right? I'm going to share this article because this is what's going on. Article/clip. I don't know yet, but one of them. I'm going to share it right now. So,
in other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion. But fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans?
Okay, so as you can see with this article, and I'm going to kind of stop it a little bit here and there because it's just interesting. Like, with this video, like you can kind of see the administration is changing the game, With the last administration, a lot of us thought that, they were going to wipe some of the debt off. I didn't think I was going to get scot-free, but I thought I was going to get some of the debt off. Now, in my case, I've been making payments, but, whatever. We thought some of the debt was going to be, some of it. But that's not the case. And then obviously, this new administration is like, yo, y'all going to pay it back, or we going to take your money. We gonna take your money. We gonna hit you where it hurt. We gonna take your money. We gonna take your paycheck, and we gonna pay ourselves. See, this is why we say there's two people I fear. Well, obviously, I fear God, obviously, but the second is the IRS because they don't play. And I know this ain't technically the IRS, but this is the government. Listen, they don't play. They can take your money out of your bank account and you have nothing to do about it. And unfortunately, most jobs ain't even giving you like checks. So it ain't like you could cash the check and be like, oh, I'm gonna just go down to their bank and I'm gonna do my thing. Nah, most jobs do direct deposit, so you kind of screwed. You screwed. And I think they'll even be able to stop you from getting cash. Listen, these student loans ain't fun. So that's why I'm making this video. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole point of this video. So let me finish playing the clip so that you can see the rest of it.
The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Okay, so as you can see, ultimately, it's time to pay the student loans. That's what the whole clip is saying. The whole clip is saying it's time to pay the student loans. So a lot of people have gotten to a place where they ain't paid their loans, been out of college, 4, 5, 10, 15 years, and they paid their student loans. And, obviously with the pandemic, it was like, nah, you don't have to think about them, so that just gave another excuse. But, hey, listen, now they collecting their money. And so if you are a person like that and you need to pay your student loans, this is why I make these videos, because you should be an Uber driver. Come out here and get this money. Come out here and make it, you know what I'm saying? Because listen, whether you do it or not, they coming for your money. They coming for your money. So you might as well get ahead of it. As the clip says, you got until May 5th. May 5th to get out of default. May 5th to make that payment. Listen, I ain't playing with them. I don't recommend that you should play with them. But that's the beautiful thing about being an Uber driver. You can come out here and make this money, even if it's just for the weekend. Come out here and make, $100, $300, $500, $1,000 over the weekend. And now you got the money to pay your student loans, and it ain't even really affecting your normal money. That's the benefit, because listen, they want their money. I'm sorry. They want their money and they gonna get their money. So this is the time to do it. This is definitely the time to do it. You should be an Uber driver, especially if you in this predicament, because there's no other, when I say no other, this is a legal opportunity. If ain't nobody told you, the barrier to be an Uber driver is so low. It's so low. Listen, I done told y'all, I know convicted felons. I personally know convicted felons that done did some crazy stuff. And they by Uber drivers. I know some people that done did some stuff. They're Uber drivers. Listen, it ain't because of your record that you can't be an Uber driver. I got crazy credit, so it ain't because of your credit that you can't be an Uber driver. I know people that get into an accident every couple weeks. They're Uber drivers. You know what I'm saying? It ain't your driving record. I know. You know what? I know some people. The areas that I work in, I can see some people that don't even have a social security card, but they Uber drivers. So, so you gotta understand, it's no barrier to entry, really. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't do Uber, you can do DoorDash. If you can't do DoorDash, then you can do Lyft. If you can't do Lyft, then you can do Amazon. If you can't do Amazon, then you can do VHO. If you can't do VHO, then you can do Instacart. There are so many gig apps out here. If you can't do VHO, then you can do Spark. If you can't do Spark, then you can do, I don't know, it's a Grubhub. There are so many gig apps out here. Listen, come and get this money. Don't let the government mess you up. Because as you can see from them clips, they not playing. Can I say that again? They not playing. So I'm just here to tell you that there is an opportunity for you to make money. And this ain't the MLM stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you this is an easy way to get rich. I'm not telling you to make this your career. All I'm telling you is you got to come out here. Now, and I'm also not telling you it's going to be easy. Can I say that again? It ain't going to be easy. Look, what I do as an Uber driver is not easy. I need to tell you that. You're going to have to come out here and grind. And it ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to put in some hours. The money ain't just going to fly in your face. I'm sorry. You're going to work for it. But if you come out here and work for it, you can easily make another $500 over the weekend. Another 1,000. In terms of work, if you put in the work, you can do it. Absolutely. If you put in the time, you can make the money. In other words, and that's I guess that's my message. It's simple. We all been driving since we were 15, 16, 18. Some of y'all waited until 18. I didn't wait till I was 18. I started driving. I was driving. Well, let me not incriminate myself, but I was driving at legal age. But you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all waited until 18, and just went down there and bought the license or whatever, did your driver's test. I wasn't those people. I was like, listen, I want to drive as soon as I can legally drive. Legally, as soon as I can legally drive, I'm gonna be driving. I drove everywhere. I was the designated driver. That was me. So we all kind of know how to drive. That ain't hard. I mean, yeah, you got people in the car. You just got to multitask. And then now you got to navigate, use the maps and navigate. But more importantly, so that's the simple part. That we all know how to do that. That ain't nothing hard with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, traffic is hard. Yeah, dealing with other cars is hard. But you get what I'm saying. Overall, we all do it. Most of us drive. Most of us have a vehicle. Most of us drive somewhere. And most of us have been driving for a year, a couple years, 10 years, whatever. So that's not the hard part. The hard part is putting in the time to make the money. Take the orders, make the money, and you get it. But it's an opportunity to do it that ain't got to affect your regular money. Because listen, if you like me and your loans was up there, your payment's going to be high. And yeah, if you let that money come out of your regular payment, you're going to be looking at rent sideways. Looking at the car payment sideways. But yeah, with that being said, man, I'm going to get out of here. I just kind of wanted to make this video because I seen it. And I'm like, listen, that's kind of interesting. So I want to just share my little 2 cents, But yeah, man, hey, real quick, I just want you to know, if you watched it this far, I love you. I appreciate you. If nobody's told you that. But yeah, we are building a community here. So if you're a new driver, you should join the community. It's on Telegram. Just download the app Telegram and hit the link in the description. Now, you do need to talk. I'm going to tell you that up front. If you ain't talking, you get kicked out. So there's that. But yeah, man, I'm going to get out of here. It's been real. Deuces.